Hey everybody, a few weeks back we told you Yeti is coming to the mall at Short Hills and we stopped by for that grand opening. It was absolutely awesome. Any thoughts there, Josh?
It was a beautiful time.
It was wonderful. And guess what? This week we have more exciting news for you, and that is especially if you're in South Jersey. Yesterday, Yeti launched their 26th store, this time at the King of Prussia Mall. Let's go.
The first in Pennsylvania.
Who is the King of Prussia, Josh Chomick?
Oh, it's not Sir Henry.
It's not. He's at Rutgers. You're right. So this is a little different. This grand opening is going to be from May 8th through May 11th. If you stop by, they're going to have the whole shebang-a-bang. They're going to have raffle giveaways. Get yourself a raffle win. You know, who doesn't like winning a Yeti raffle? You're going to get some good stuff there. Also, they're going to have custom King of Prussia swag and new in-store exclusive offers. Also, Josh, do you have a mom?
Yes.
Do you know it's Mother's Day this weekend?
Yes.
Have you got your mom a gift yet?
I need to.
Okay, we'll do it together. Maybe
She listens to the pod. I'm not going to say what I got her.
Maybe we'll get her a gift at King of Prussia on Saturday, May 10th, because what's going to happen is they're going to provide handmade arrangements for moms.
Love that.
Floral.
Yeti arrangements.
Cool. So stop by King of Prussia Mall for the opening. We have a great relationship with the people at Yeti. They're wonderful people. And would highly recommend you go get yourself some good gear. Also, with it being Mother's Day weekend, beyond even the arrangements, if you need a good gift idea, this is a great time to head to the mall at Short Hills or King of Prussia to go get your mom a beautiful tumbler and say, I know you love your coffee, Mom. Here's a Yeti for you. What mom is not going to love a Yeti? So stop by the King of Prussia Mall for Yeti's grand opening and be sure to tell them we sent you.
Hey, this is Jersey. You're listening to the Garden State.
You're listening to The Garden State, the only New Jersey podcast that gives you all the news you need to hear this week. My name is Josh Sobel.
I'm Josh Chomick.
I'm Jordan Morris. You always go first.
I don't know why. It's been a while since the four of us have been together.
You guys are so rusty. No excuses.
Busted up the intro.
Jordan, you miss a week and now you're just falling apart.
Oh, he always goes first.
You're
I was
right.
waiting for him.
You're right.
I want to get rid of that intro. Okay, just say that.
You can't. It's a staple.
I want to get rid of it, and I want it just to be music that fades into conversation.
So we just started the weekend recap.
So it's just like,
Like,
we're making fun of Jimmy. Like, let's try again. Let's pretend we're just talking about it. Yeah, his feet are so big, and I was telling him the other day, get a size 14 shoe.
Yeah, get some friends.
Oh, hey everybody,
Hey,
welcome
Jim.
back to the
It's a
Garden
podcast.
State. It's just like fades in like that.
I kind of like that. That works
You
better
like
that way.
you like me making fun of your feet?
No.
So, Jordan, you had like 103 fever last week?
I did for like
A week?
4 days in a row.
What was the actual
awful.
temp?
I think 103.2.
Isn't that like dangerous that high? I don't think I've ever had a temp, like a fever that high.
I think for adults it's 104 where it becomes really dangerous where you're like, okay, you have to go.
How long did you have that for?
I mean, that was kind of spiking up and down, but I had a consistent fever for 4 days.
Oh my goodness. I've never had a fever more than a day, I feel like.
Either
Yeah,
have
same.
I. That was my first time, and that was the highest fever I've ever had. And it was
Were you a little
horrible.
bit concerned?
I was a little bit concerned because I'm like, I've never had this before. I'm like, is this normal? And then my mom's like, you should be fine.
I would have been concerned on like day 3. It's like, is this ever going to end?
Yeah, it got worse. Like the worst part of it was the last day too. That's why I was
Oh,
like, okay,
no.
this is pretty bad. But then it broke and I felt much better. So
Isn't it kind of crazy how fragile humans are where just a few degrees shift and you're done?
yeah,
It's like 98.6,
5 degrees up, but it's like,
five degrees and you're
That is true. It's like, why is it so hard?
It's so-
you would
it's
think
such-
it's like a 15 degree change or something
yeah,
like that.
we have a tiny window of operation, you know, before we overheat.
What's the normal body temp? Like 97.6 or something like that?
98.6.
98.6.
Yeah.
I think I'm in the 97 range, boys.
But Jordan,
Kind of low temperature.
you're a 97er?
I think so, yeah.
I usually sit around there too.
Yeah.
What is with that? Because
What
my
are you?
sister, 98.6.
You sure?
I'm a prototype human.
It's perfect.
I go by the book.
You're like all the others, Josh.
No, my sister told me Jordan. She was like, "Yeah, Jordan," but his natural temperature, he told me, is 97. So 103
I
or
was
104
there.
is really high for him. I was like, "What?"
She sounded like your doctor when we asked her.
I was like, first off,
I was like, Lydia, how's your man? She's like, oh, he's all right now.
well, first off, how do you know what your normal temperature is? Because for me, I never check my temperature unless I have a fever.
Yeah, so I did this a few months
know.
ago, like right before I left for tour. I was like sick the day before, so I was checking my temperature like every 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I couldn't get over how much it fluctuated. Like it goes all over the place. I don't know if that's just because I was sick, but
Maybe.
it was like down to like 96 point something at one point. Then it was
Whoa.
like 99. Like
No, I think
within
there's a
just,
range.
like-
I think there's a range.
Yeah.
And most thermometers aren't great. Oh, you know what? You probably know because of COVID. Remember
was
we
taking
would
it a lot.
scan our foreheads to go into buildings?
Yeah.
I don't think those are accurate, but yes.
Huh. Maybe that's how.
Maybe it is.
See, I went to the doctor on Sunday, weekend recap, and then they gave me a reading of like 97. That's how I know I'm in the 97 range because they had to take my temperature even though I wasn't sick.
But that doesn't mean that's consistent. It just means your body
At
temperature
that point in
fluctuates.
time.
No, but I think every time I've gone to the doctors my whole life, I've always been 97 boy. Yeah, so like I don't know. I guess
Jordan.
that's my temperature.
You got a thermometer laying around
I
somewhere?
actually do upstairs. We should
What, pass it around?
see what our.
That's what they
their
do at the
temperature
doctor's
is.
offices.
I don't
You
want-
think they actually switch those things out?
I don't know.
You never know.
I hope.
I think
so.
about that every time. I'm like, I hope they clean this one up from the last person.
I'm sure they do.
Speaking of temperature, pivot, degrees, pivot one more step. It's been raining nonstop up here in the Union County area.
Not much though.
Yeah.
I think we've got like max, like we haven't even gotten a half an inch over the past few days. It's been like tiny little storms here and there.
Which is nice. I like that.
Sussex County, like they've been getting more rain up north, and then South Jersey, they've
Nothing.
been dry. South Jersey is part of the worst part of the drought.
And really, they're the ones that need it the most down there over the Pine Barrens, huh?
Yeah, I would say so.
We got to figure out a sprinkler system for the Pine Barrens because it is getting outrageous with these fires.
Like I'm looking at the radar right now, and like you have this giant storm system coming through, but it's only like headed toward North Jersey, and it's just gonna pivot. If you look over here, fellas, it's just gonna stay up north, Sussex County, hit us a little bit, pass through South Jersey, but but not even by much.
Do you think on this wall right here we could get a big flat screen, like
With the radar,
with a radar going
constantly.
at all times?
Yes,
I think that's very on.
Constant
That's
We-
on brand for the Garden State. We
That
should
is
just
a
have-
great way
constant
to
loop.
use our money.
You could get a TV for like $100 nowadays.
Oh yeah, look at the cheapest TV.
Get like a 50-inch flat screen on that wall.
I think that'd be really
And we'll just
nice.
have a looping, and then it should switch from the actual map to like different cameras around the state.
To air traffic control patterns. Like you get airport maps.
Whoa, I didn't think of that.
I think that'd be really cool.
Wait, so you know what flights are coming in?
yeah, so we can see how bad Newark Airport is.
All right, so here's what we need. We need a rotating map. Is this possible, Josh, to have like it flips between
Yeah, there's programs that you could
the
set it up.
radar and then it's like, oh, here's Seaside Heights surf map, where it shows like the view of the ocean, the camera,
Yeah.
and then it flips to the airport.
Yeah, there's got to be a method. I'll look it up this week, or I'll reach out to our friends over at News 12 and ask how they do it.
Excellent.
Or can we get one of those weather maps that you could like kind of touch and then
That would
like,
be
go-
so great.
So we have just like a weather segment here on the Garden State.
That would be really funny. Well, aren't they usually just green screens?
Yeah, most of
Yeah.
the time. Yeah,
Just say it's already
When we
green.
went on News 12, they let me do the weather, and it was just like a screen moving. I had to just talk. I was kind of bummed out. I was
have
like, I wanted to touch it.
You got to work on your weather voice.
Oh, I just know I'm not cut out for that.
Can you do what voice you'd do if you were a weatherman?
No, I don't know. I would just have my voice now. I don't have a weather voice.
You wouldn't like try to bolster it a little bit?
No, I don't think I could fake it. Like you have a good fake news voice.
A small squall is coming.
It's like, why would he talk like that?
They definitely work on it. They definitely, when they're in
Oh.
college, they want to be weather people, and they're looking at themselves in their dorm room. Going,
We got a squall coming through the northeast section of the state today.
I think there's like
sounds-
whole
that sounds like
classes
a
for that.
predator.
A predator?
Like children should be concerned.
No, it sounds like
You sound like
it sounds like the voice
you
of like
sound
if I had a
Donald
kids
Duck
show
or something.
I think if I started like a kids program on YouTube, like I would have made $1 billion right now if I started like 10 years ago. I'd be great.
Like Blippi,
Like Ms. Rachel, but for like
Yeah.
dudes. Yeah.
but for dudes.
Like a guide version of like Ms. Rachel.
Well,
I
Miss
think would
Rachel's
be
kind
great.
of for all kids. She just does like numbers and letters and stuff.
Yeah, but imagine like some guy was teaching your kid like
You probably wouldn't like that.
how you
this is how you change a tire, boy.
Maybe it could work.
Or I
could
would
see
be like, hey kids.
that.
Oh wait, what's his name? What's that guy's name?
Why does that voice creep me
Wait,
out
wait,
so much?
wait, what's the guy's name?
It reminds me of Chuck E. Cheese.
Pee Wee Herman.
Oh yes,
That's what it reminds
who
me.
was a predator?
Yeah, why do you want to be Pee Wee Herman?
Yeah, but didn't
man?
he like turn his life
weird.
around? Like, didn't he end up like ending off well
I
before he
don't
passed
think
away?
so. I
He
think-
passed, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah, this past year, I thought Pee Wee passed away. Can you look that up, Josh?
Did Pee Wee Herman? Let's ask ChatGPT. Did Pee Wee Herman fix his legacy before death?
I thought he did.
I'm thinking no. I'm gonna say this is a no for me, dog. It's going to search the web here. So here's what we got. Pictures, AI generated pictures of Pee Wee Herman.
See, look, you made it.
Oh, he made significant strides in restoring and enriching his legacy before his death. So in the 1990s, he faced legal issues.
2023.
He was on Broadway in 2010. So I guess they're making the argument that if he was just on Broadway and stuff and that fixed it. But regardless, Josh.
Pee-wee's Playhouse. I loved that as a kid. Did you guys used to watch that?
No.
I think I saw
To watch his movies.
What in the world were you?
Pee-wee's Playhouse. Was that a bad movie? I don't even remember. I just remember I don't know. Someone showed me that back in the day. You don't know what that is?
I never
That's like
saw.
his hit movie. Or show. I don't even know what
Did you watch that?
I watched his movies, yeah.
Did you
They're
watch that?
weird.
Man, I don't know. I think my parents are just like, nah, you're not watching that. You're not watching Pee-wee.
I think I
Pee-wee's
watched it.
Playhouse, 1986. It's a musical, 5 seasons.
What?
It looks so scary. Yeah.
Yeah, I never watched any of that.
It looks terrifying, but it looks
Wasn't
awesome.
he in the Inspector Gadget as well?
I remember he
actor?
was in
He
like a
looks
bunch of
like it.
things.
I don't know.
Legend. Hey, he
I don't
turned his
know.
life around.
I don't know how we got there, but I think Garden State Kids could be a good channel.
Yes. Whoa.
We give them like park recommendations, like this is the top 5 parks in Union County.
No, they're not going to watch that.
No, like we got to do like what all the other Instagram influencers
This
do.
is the new TikTok challenge of the week, the Chromebook challenge. You light your Chromebook on fire while you're in class.
Or you could do that, or you could just be like, I really think New Jersey recommendations for the kids would be good.
That'd be awesome.
You know what conglomerate and controls social media is moms. If
Yes.
you make content for moms, you get really rich.
We have to grab the moms.
Yeah, we need to start going, hey moms, here's a coffee shop in Westfield that has a playground in it where if you take your kids, they can run around. And then you get 10 million views and make $1 million. So something to think about there, guys. But hey, I'm glad everybody's doing well. I'm glad we're back for another week of the Garden State.
Jordan's alive.
Yeah.
Jordan's alive. We're going to do a little weekend recap. But before we get to the weekend, Jimmy had a Thursday recap he wanted to share with us.
Ooh, new segment.
So, as you all know, I love the outdoors. That's where I'm going
Yes.
to start.
Well, your name is Jimmy Parks, so I would hope so.
So it's a sad but like inspiring story. Yesterday I met a girl who climbed El Capitan in Yosemite.
Nice.
Whoa.
However, she fell off of it. She fell 100 feet.
What?
Was she
And-
like on a rope, obviously?
I don't know if she was free soloing it.
That's like the best detail of the whole story.
But she's alive.
Did she hit
Jimmy.
the rock?
She's alive.
So right, she was like actually like El Capitan's like a great mountain to fall off of because it's just a sheer cliff. There's not like a bunch of stuff that you're gonna bounce off of as you're like falling down.
Interesting.
But she did hit like the one thing that was like sticking out. So she's paralyzed from the waist down.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
But like now she has a documentary about her. I have to watch it. But
Where did you meet her?
so she's like an inspirational speaker now, and
Really?
she's doing she does like trail assessments to see like what trails can be like accommodate people with disabilities.
That's awesome.
So yeah, her name is Quinn. If you want to look her up, Quinn. What's her? Quinn Brett.
Quinn Brett, founder.
Wow.
So-
What a
Jim.
story.
Yeah, so crazy, very inspirational.
She has a good attitude, huh?
And
I mean, the fact that she survived a fall like that is miraculous.
yep. And I met her with I forget what the guy's name was, but he also went through a similar like crazy experience in Wyoming, and he's paralyzed from the waist down again, and has no use of his left hand. But on the day before the 1-year anniversary of his accident, he rode a bike, like a altered bike that you pedal with one hand,
Oh my
all the
gosh.
way up going to the Sun Road in Glacier National Park.
Which, if you listeners don't know,
That's
that
so
is
epic.
crazy steep.
That's crazy.
That is so steep.
Can you?
With one arm,
Yeah, with one arm.
he must be really strong. That one arm.
It's just crazy to me that the day before the year anniversary of his accident, he did that. Like, I can't imagine in 365 days going
The
from
recovery.
Yeah, going from just being like not like losing everything that you knew in life to being able to ride your bike up that crazy road. So
What was his name?
I could find out. Hold on.
Yeah, there's some people that they just have an extra gear in life. They're just built a little different.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm one of them. Like if I
What are you talking about? You just ran a half marathon.
yeah, but there's people that are crazy, man. Like if I got paralyzed in El Capitan, I think I'd be like,
Done. I'd be like, I'm not going back there.
I don't think
ever
I'd be
again.
motivational speaking. Yeah, I think I'd be like pretty upset.
His name is Joe Stone.
Joe Stone.
What a name.
And then he has a dog that's with him. And his dog's name is George.
Are these both New Jersey residents?
No,
Either?
I don't think either of them are.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Get him on the pod.
It was just Jimmy's Thursday recap.
You were in the park, though, in New
Yeah,
Jersey.
I was in the
Right?
park.
That's pretty cool.
So
I think I'm at a point in my life where I'm okay. I can accept that I'm never going to do extreme things ever again.
Oh, you just came to that realization?
No, like I
I
accepted.
accepted that 20 years ago, dude.
Well, you still do cool. You go snowboarding and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I'm done. I'm okay if I don't snowboard ever again.
No, same. I think I went once this year. I'm kind of just like, yeah, I'm good.
Like I'm not good enough now. I didn't. There's like a threshold where, as a young person, you need to figure out how to get really good so that you could do it as an adult and teach your kids. I didn't meet that threshold. So now if I go, I feel like I'm prone to injury and all that stuff.
How do you think I feel about running?
Well, running, you can't fall down a mountain.
I mean, yeah, but I already injured myself twice.
Yeah, but you just got to push through that. You'll be all right.
That's part of my weekend recap.
Keep running.
I think exercise is different than like, I'm saying
I'm so sad.
elective activities, which I guess running is elective. You choose to do it.
Yes.
Elective activities that could be fun or you just die.
Yeah. Like
Which is like, there's a few things, like riding a motorcycle. I got my license. I'm not ever riding a motorcycle.
yeah.
I hear so many people die. There's just certain things where it's like,
not worth
I'm
your
never going
time
to climb
and-
El Capitan. You know, it's not in the cards for me at this point. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
What about you, Jordan?
No, I think I'm pretty much done with the most extreme stuff.
You're gonna go skydiving though. Didn't you say that?
I would like to at some point.
Yeah. I'm
but
not.
I feel like
I'm
that's
not
pretty
gonna
safe,
skydive.
where it's not like a.
I
I
hear
don't know, people die. People die.
Yeah, but people die driving in their car, so.
That's true.
You have a higher chance of dying driving on the turnpike than you do jumping out of a plane. That's
yeah,
for sure.
but here's the difference, okay? Here's the difference. You need to drive a car. We got to get to work. You don't need to jump out of a plane
Exactly.
with a
Because like,
parachute.
you're stuck up there, so how are you going to get down?
you just come down with the pilot
That's a good point.
when
I
the
didn't think
pilot
about
lands
that.
the plane.
oh,
I don't know.
they land.
I thought they just let it go.
Just let it go. They ghost ride the whip.
Let it go.
Oh man. So Jimmy, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's nice when you meet somebody that inspires you and makes you feel like your kind of mindset needs to shift. I guess that's why they're motivational speakers.
Yeah.
That's how I felt when I met Jordan the first time.
Well, I motivated you?
Yeah.
How? I'm
I
not
was
very
just making that
motivational
up.
at
I
all.
was just making
He
that up.
was making a joke.
You made
You're
me feel
absolutely,
good. You got me
absolutely
all
not.
excited. Oh,
But
that
hey,
sucks.
why don't we do a little bit more recapping here, and then we could get into the mailbag. And briefly, did you guys do anything this weekend? I can't think of anything I did that was.
I went to
worthy of
we did
discussion.
Team Car Wash. We did a few other.
Yeah, we did.
Saturday's a work day for us. Like we did the Team Car Wash, then we did like a few other videos that are coming out soon. So we were running around the state on Saturday, which was fun.
Team Car Wash Roselle Park launch.
Shout out.
They brought out for the launch of this new car wash, Sir Henry, the mascot of Rutgers. The girl came up to me and was like, "Oh, Sir Henry's here," and I was like,
I thought Sir Henry was the mayor at first.
"That's
I
what
was
I thought."
like, I was like, no.
That's so cool. They call him Sir Henry, and then she's like, "No, the mascot." I was like, "Oh."
And then the mayor didn't even end up showing up.
Yeah,
dude.
the Roselle Park didn't send the mayor because he was
Dude,
busy.
these
They
officials.
sent a backup.
No way.
Which, by the way, a backup to the mayor of Roselle Park. No offense, Roselle Park, but like, that's like it's like going to a AAA baseball game and they're like, "Hey, the guys aren't here. We're gonna send out the backups."
What?
Like, I'm here for AAA baseball. Like, get the
Yeah,
guys on the
dude.
field.
What city or town in New Jersey would it be acceptable to send a backup?
I'd say
You think a big city like
Jersey
Trenton.
City, Newark, Trenton. You know, the big
Yeah.
ones where they got fish to fry. You know, there's
Yeah.
stuff going around.
Like, what's the Roselle Park mayor doing at 10 a.m. on Saturday?
Dude,
Like,
he's at the
couldn't-
diner with his buddies. He's like, "I'm not
Exactly.
coming to that car wash."
softball league or something, playing golf.
Men's softball league.
So dumb. Yeah. So then we did Team Car Wash. We did a few other videos. Saturday was cool. Then Sunday I tried to get back into running after like 2-week break.
Nice.
Ran 2 miles. Instantly, I'm 2 miles away from my house. My foot just shocks. Like I have the worst pain ever. I had to limp 2 miles to get back home, and went to the doctors. Nothing. And then the next day was fine. So, you guys tell me what the heck is wrong with me. I just have to ease back into it.
I think you just gotta get better.
Josh, obviously. Yes, obviously.
Just kidding.
Wait.
No, I think you might need to get some insoles in your shoes. I was thinking
That's what
about
I
this.
hear. Yes.
I think you need to get real nice quality insoles for the arch of your foot.
I'm just mad because the 2 miles felt great, and then I couldn't walk after that. And then Monday comes, after the doctor gives me pain meds, prescribes me painkillers. I'm like, I don't
Really?
need that. Thanks for helping me with nothing. And then then Monday to now, like my foot feels fine. So it's like, just running triggered some sort of pain in my foot.
Doctors got to chill with these painkillers, man.
They just here's some painkillers. You just rest your foot. I'm like, oh, thanks.
How
I
many
wasted
people
all my money.
How many people overdosed because they started with
I didn't
just
even
like
pick 'em
a
up.
foot injury and they will get some pain?
It's absolutely ridiculous. It
they
doesn't make
just-
any sense.
nuts.
So yeah, I went to the doctor Sunday, 97 temperature, and I haven't ran yet. So I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out my life.
You got to go to Fleet Feet, like I've been telling you. Get your feet measured. And,
You know, one of our
Tested.
listeners commented on my Strava post telling me to go to Fleet Feet.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I've never been.
I will
They can give
say
you insoles.
the
Yeah.
one in Westfield, we have a Connect That, Josh, if you do want to go there.
Do we?
Yeah, but
You're
I will
telling me this now?
Yeah, I will say.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's been withholding that.
I will say, I feel like those machines aren't real.
Overrated.
I feel like every time I go to a Fleet Feet and step on the machine, my foot's different every time. And maybe I'm just growing.
That's how I always feel. I feel like I could run in vans and not have a problem. I think it's just
And
it's all
also,
in our heads.
I did this the first time I got into running. I went to Fleet Feet. I did all the right things, got all the gear. And they recommended me these Nike Pegasus shoes that were the worst shoes. Killed my knees. And then someone like my sister or somebody that runs a lot was like, why would you ever get those shoes? Like,
That's crazy.
Go get a pair of like Brooks, like get actual running shoes. Like,
I feel like every employee is gonna have like a different take, like no matter depending on who who
Yeah.
you go talk to. So it's like what why am I doing this? I don't know.
yeah. So on Sunday, I just to segue into my weekend, I went out on the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of New Jersey to
Oh,
catch
yes.
some stripers, and it was a great time. I went out of the Raritan Bay. I texted you guys while I was on the Raritan Bay. There's this little lighthouse in the middle of the bay that I really
We
want.
have to check it out.
We got to see if we can get on it.
What was it called again, Jim?
Oh, I don't know. I have to look it up.
Let me see. Raritan Bay Lighthouse, built in 1880.
Oh, the Great Beds Light.
The Great Beds Light. This thing is so cool. How
Everyone
did they
look up the Great Beds Light. It's like some random lighthouse in the middle of the water.
explain to me how in 1880 in the
They built
Raritan
that?
Bay they built that? I mean, like they were again.
It was before they opened the bay.
Oh, so that was just dry.
Joking.
I was gonna say. Duh. Man, for the listeners, it's 6:40 in the morning. I'm gonna give myself a pass on that one, but that was pretty stupid. That was pretty dumb, dude. But what I was gonna say was because I was talking to my father-in-law about it. Because when they built bridges back then, what they do is they board them off. And they board down because it's like the 20 feet deep there. They put big boards up and then they pump the water out and then they put concrete in.
Well, that's how they still do it with bridges.
Well, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that's how. Like, I love watching them build the bridges because that's exactly what they do. They put the boards down. It's so sick.
I'm never going to live that down. But he was saying to me, because my father-in-law, construction worker kind of guy, he was saying that people, I don't know if this is true or not, but I believe it's true. Back when they built these bridges back then, if people would fall in while they were pumping all the concrete in,
They leave them there.
they would just leave them.
Yeah, no, that's true.
That's crazy. I was sitting there like,
Wait, there's no chance they could pull them out. They just like screw
Probably
it.
not.
he was saying it and so I'm just sitting there quietly on the boat listening to him. And as he said it, I'm like, that sounds crazy, but I believe him and I'm not going to push back on it because it just sounds real.
So think about like human bodies just buried in that
Flying
concrete
out. Yeah. You're flying in, your buddy's at work. You're talking to your friend 1 minute. The next minute he falls in. You're just like, oh, I guess you're staying in the base of this bridge for eternity.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, good morning.
Instant death though, right? Like it's like suffocation.
I don't think instant. I think that,
Yeah, you probably would
you
suffocate.
drown in it, I guess. I don't know.
It's not fun either way. The pressure. I'm not sure.
You probably get crushed. Yeah, that's probably a good point.
Back in the day, right? People died building stuff all the time. Like 11 people died while building the Golden Gate Bridge. 5 people died building the Empire State Building, right? Like,
Is that the actual numbers? Because that's
Yes.
actually not that much compared to like how 5 deaths
more?
to build the Empire State Building. Like you see the photos of them building that thing. Like I'm shocked there wasn't like 300 deaths or something like that.
yeah, but like nowadays, like,
If one person dies, it's bad. Yeah. Well, that's why projects take 1 million years now because safety.
I think people
Which
still
is
die a
pretty
lot.
good.
I mean, a few people died at the American Dream Mall when they were building it.
Well, that place is cursed.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but it also took like 40 years to build.
The Chrysler Building had no fatalities, so interesting. You always hear these fake stats, like one out of every 10 builders at the Empire State Building fell to their death, and you're like, that's just not true. They would have had to put steel umbrellas up for the people walking past if people were falling every day.
Yeah, it's way too many. Well,
It's just a lot of people.
The
Wow.
official number was 5, right, Jim?
Yeah, that's crazy. You're right. 2 construction workers died while building the American Dream Mall.
So it's not like this is this archaic, and this is the argument when they're saying it's going to take, 10 years to build a new tunnel from New Jersey to New York, but they're like, everything's safer now, less people die. It's like, not, I guess, kind of, yeah, sure, there's better OSHA standards, but people still die from time to time.
I'm just glad that people are not getting buried in concrete these days.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the Great Bed,
That sounds
what were
terrifying.
you going to say, Jimmy?
13 people died building the Holland Tunnel.
Jeez.
Yeah, well, look at the photos of them building that thing. I'm not surprised one bit. It's ridiculous.
So all I was going to say here, because we got into construction tangent, is the Great Beds Lighthouse is really cool in the Raritan Bay, and I think we should try to find out how to get on it. The previous owner lived in Cranford, and I think
He passed.
he passed 10 years ago.
So what, his kids maybe own
He
it?
bought it for $90,000.
That's crazy.
He bought a lighthouse in the Raritan Bay. Imagine Airbnb-ing this thing.
Imagine that was our studio. We had to take a boat out there like every week.
It looks pretty
that
small.
Would be so fun. Maybe. But we could.
Well, yeah, Josh, the photos make it look small. Like, was this thing like big, like going next to it, or like what's the height of that?
It's 61 feet tall.
Okay. Good
It was
it's hard to tell by photos.
Yeah, it was a good size. It wasn't like teeny tiny, but it wasn't a
It's
it
like a
wasn't
lighthouse
Barney.
you see in like a horror film.
No, it wasn't Barney by any stretch. But all right, hey, Jordan, did you want to say anything?
No, I was sick all week.
You're sick all
so-
weekend. Yeah, okay, I thought so.
I
That
did
was
nothing.
your recap. So let's do the mailbag and let's get into some news. 6:45 a.m.
Yeah, sorry the podcast
Chime
is up
time.
late today. We are filming Friday morning. So you guys are getting a fresh pod in your
This
hands.
is right out of the oven.
We're going to record, post it right away, and get on with our days. So we apologize for the delay, but we're here. We're alive.
Do you think we can get a chime time?
Chime time. What's that?
6:45 chime time weather report. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what they do on like all the.
So cool. Do we want to
What is
be
that?
news
Is that-
that's so bad?
We do, yeah. Everything we do is directed at becoming the news. All right, so Josh, let's do the mailbag. Why don't you chime that chime time mailbag recording with
Listen,
the listeners?
call into the mailbag. Tell us about your life. Tell us about New Jersey. We want to hear from you. And the number is very easy, and it is
908 67 99 99 3.
Hey guys, this is Chris from Hackettstown. I love your conversation about water. I want to talk about more water. But this time I want to talk about Sandy Hook, which is about as far north in New Jersey as you can go before you really don't want to swim in the water anymore. Anyway, I grew up around there, and you were talking about Cape May kind of going away, South Cape May going away. Not many people may know, but the lighthouse out on Sandy Hook is the oldest lighthouse, working lighthouse in the United States. And that lighthouse, when it was built, was actually 500 feet from the tip of Sandy Hook. If you look at the map today, that lighthouse is a mile and a half from the tip of Sandy Hook because of the way the ocean current is going. It just keeps bringing more dirt and sand and building the end of Sandy Hook. So, yeah, water is crazy. Go to Sandy Hook. It's closer. It's beautiful. Cape May is cool, too, but it's far. Thanks for the call, and thanks for the pod. Later.
water.
Why is it? Yeah, water.
I think he's
Water.
making fun of us.
What? Why?
Why?
By the way, we say water.
Did we say water like that? Water.
I don't know, but
No,
that's
he says
water.
it water.
Yeah, I think he's
Water?
making fun of us.
Really?
That was my take on it.
Who says water like that?
I've never
don't
said
know.
water. I say water.
Water.
Water. Well, thank you.
Oh, do you think he's saying
thank
we're
you for
saying it the
calling.
wrong way? He's correcting us. Water.
Water. I don't know.
So,
So
500
is he
feet.
right that that's the oldest working lighthouse in the United States of America?
Yes, the Sandy Hook Lighthouse is still
Wow.
operational. Is the oldest operating lighthouse in the United States, having been in service since 1764.
That is insane.
The lighthouse is currently maintained by the U.S. Coast Guard.
So I'm assuming
It's a pretty
It
lighthouse.
used to be 500 feet from the top of the hook, is what he was saying. Would be my guess.
And yeah,
Because if you look at the it's about 500 feet from the bay side right now, or maybe he means 500 feet. From ocean side. That would make sense.
either way, it's kind of cool how Sandy Hook keeps growing.
Well, it's not a mile and a half from the ocean, so it has to be from the top of the hook.
Well, I didn't realize like Sandy Hook is constantly like growing.
Yeah.
Because of like the way the water pushes the sand onto it. That's kind of crazy.
We need all the help we can get. Keep growing this thing. It's going to eventually connect with Staten Island.
Yeah.
Then it's not a hook anymore, though. So, very interesting call
A
there.
long time until that day comes.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see.
We'll have to see.
I will say, I do love that Raritan Bay. I love getting out.
How
fishing
far
out
did
there.
like if I'm looking? Josh and I are looking at a map. How far out did you guys go? What do you say? Did you go past Sandy Hook or you stayed
No,
within?
we didn't get to the hook this time. Usually we go out. There's tons of stripers always around Sandy Hook, but
Yeah.
we were out midway through. We went along up by like the lower bay up by Staten Island, which, by the way, maybe moot point here. Staten Island should just be a part of New Jersey. It's so
Whoa,
close.
No, we don't want it.
I feel like it's just so close and just makes so
I mean,
much
yeah,
sense.
it's 20
hate
minutes from
Staten
us, but yeah, I
Island.
can't stand Staten Island, and I'm glad that they're their own state.
The state of Staten Island.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Honestly, just make it
themselves.
its own state at this point.
Yeah, because it's like the redheaded stepchild of New York.
They don't like it.
New York doesn't want him.
Exactly,
We don't want
we don't
him.
want
No
him.
one wants him. Ugh.
I've never had an enjoyable time on Staten Island. That's all I'm going to say.
It's kind of interesting to think that if there wasn't water between Staten Island and New Jersey,
We'd be one.
I mean, Rahway is like 5 minutes from Staten Island.
Yeah.
It's so crazy to think about.
Well, it was one until they filled the bay, but
Jimmy's not gonna let you live
I had to
that
think
down.
about that.
Jimmy's having a blast this
I had
morning.
to think about that for a second. Well, is it a channel? I mean, between the two?
well,
Was
it's Arthur Kill, right?
it man-made, Jimmy?
Arthur Kill is no.
Yeah, Arthur Kill, yeah.
A kill is natural.
Is it an inlet or a canal?
What's a kill, Jim?
A kill?
Yeah.
It's like it's a river
Why isn't it just called a river?
because it's a kill.
What's the difference between a kill and a river?
I don't know. Let's look this
All
up.
right. Let's get into the news here.
Wait, one more quick water fact.
Yeah.
Because we love water. What's kill?
A kill is a body of water, most commonly a creek, but also a tidal inlet, river, strait, or arm of the sea. So I would assume Arthur Kill is tidal.
It's a title inlet of the
Oh
sea.
gosh, it didn't really help me, but cool.
All right. Why don't we get into the news?
We got some great news this week.
Yeah, it's a good news week.
Crazy week.
Man, lots of transportation issues in New Jersey. And
I mean, we are one of the most populated states. So,
but it's all coming to a head at once.
We are the most densely populated state.
I'm sorry, Jimmy. Thank you for correcting me.
You're welcome.
It's early.
You said that we're the most populated?
One of the most.
No.
Which is not false.
We are the
think-
most
I think we are
densely populated.
Most densely
state.
populated.
I think we are one of the most populated, though.
That's what I thought.
I think we're top 5, aren't we?
Top 5.
I don't know. Let's look here. Florida, North Carolina, New Jersey. No. California, Florida, Illinois, North Carolina, New
York.
Jersey.
Okay.
No, Texas. Okay, no, this isn't in order. That's why.
See,
Looks like we're number 7.
We're pretty far down there.
okay, nonetheless, densely populated.
11.
Yes.
I remember hearing that fact as a kid in school and be like, whoa, that's so cool.
What, dense?
They were like, New Jersey's the most densely populated. And this is how I knew I was going to start a podcast one day. I was like 7. I was like, what? That's so cool. We all live next to each other.
Yeah, dude.
I thought like the rest of the world, they didn't have suburbs or something, you know?
We're a special breed.
I was a little mentally deficient, but it's all right. So let's get into the news here. So the feds have vowed to rebuild the air traffic control system after a 90-second outage at Newark Airport.
Did you guys hear about this? This was terrifying.
Yeah.
So why don't you give the listeners the rundown, and I'll read the article here.
Air traffic control loses. They have an outage for 90 seconds, so they don't know where planes are for 90 seconds coming into Newark Airport. Boom. Like, that's kind of concerning.
Yeah. Yeah. So on April 28th, a radio and radar outage left air traffic controllers unable to track aircraft or communicate with pilots at Newark Airport for 90 seconds. That was not a good situation, Trump said Thursday.
Read it in Trump's voice. Can you read
That
Trump's
was
voice?
not a good situation.
That was an awful Trump voice.
I'm sorry. I got to do the fingers. He said, I'm sorry what you're going through with the terminals, but we're going to get them fixed up. So it seems, before we go any further in this article, it seems that the message of the last 2 years with airplanes has been lots of issues.
Yes.
Lots of crashes. How did we get here is what I want to know.
I don't know.
What was the lead up?
I was thinking about that last night.
The lead up to us having horrible plane crashes, and I hear a lot of theories, but I'm curious. And now President Trump is saying, I'm not going to do the impression again, but he's saying it's not a good situation. And he said we're going to get it fixed. We'll see what happens there. So federal officials announced an ambitious plan Thursday to modernize the nation's air traffic control system, acting after several recent deadly plane and helicopter crashes ignited public panic and made air safety a sudden priority for the Trump administration. So Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy outlined plans to replace decades-old technology, build new air traffic control centers and towers, and quote, supercharge hiring to erase the current national shortage of more than 3,000 air traffic controllers. So that's been another problem that's been going on I remember like 4 years ago, my brother told me, hey, he was like, it's a great job? Air traffic controllers. Mm-hmm. They need them. They can't find them. I could see you being a great air traffic controller.
Yeah, I think that would be like a pretty cool job.
Why don't you do it?
What?
Why don't you go do it? They make like $300,000 a year.
Because I love what I do right now, and like it's. I feel like there's a lot to learn. Like I can't just jump in and make $300,000 a year.
Well, you probably got to go through some training, which is good.
But also, like I don't want to be that guy. Like if a plane crashes, it's my fault. You watch Breaking Bad?
Yeah, I was thinking
look
the
at that
same
guy.
thing.
Like he
Breaking
couldn't
Bad.
live that down.
Yeah, I couldn't do air traffic control.
It's a lot of pressure, bro.
I'm too ADD.
Entry level
Distracted.
controllers earn $61,000 a year.
But you got to look locally because that's the federal. If you look at like Teterboro, I remember Teterboro was hiring somebody. It was like starting 140,
Oh, well, that's not
and
bad.
then you get overtime.
Yeah.
But then it goes up from there, big dog. You end up making a lot of money. Go to Newark Airport, be an air traffic controller. The power. I just sit up in the
apparently,
booth with your headset on.
The air traffic controllers from Newark are based out of Philly.
That's what I heard.
I heard that too. You're right.
What do you mean?
They're based out of Philly.
Who's in the tower at Newark Airport? then?
Nobody.
What do you mean nobody?
Well, maybe that's the issue. Maybe we got to get.
Maybe that's the problem. Let's build that tower and we won't have these
nobody's there.
issues. Wait, what do you mean there's no one in that
I
tower?
think the tower is like an outdated thing.
You think? You know they built that tower not too long ago, correct? There's the old tower at Newark Airport, then there's the new tower.
Listen, I
What are you
think-
saying?
What? Why are you yelling at me? Jordan agreed with me.
No, because I don't know if you're messing with us
I'm
now.
not
No,
messing
the way they
with
do
you.
it. The way they do it is they have lots of cameras and they have like a control room. So there's people in a
Whoa.
control room.
I don't know.
So it's the same
I don't even
as.
think they're using cameras, really.
No,
I
because
don't
I
think they
knew
are
an air
either.
traffic controller that used to work at Newark. Maybe they still do. I haven't talked to them in a while, but like they used to climb that tower all the time. So like I don't
Climb
know.
it. They don't have an elevator.
in the
or anything?
elevator.
Oh, I was gonna say.
Continue with the article.
Okay, sorry. This is a messy episode, guys. Man, you guys are a disaster. I can't work
But
with
like,
you anymore.
well, actually, what we were just saying is actually interesting as you continue the article. What the next part says.
Yes. So workers would replace radar, software, hardware, and telecommunications networks with an eye on reducing outages, improving efficiency, and ensuring safety, Duffy said. The plan also aims to eliminate close calls on runways and in approach airspace by expanding a surface awareness initiative to 200 airports.
Yeah. So like, they want to get more people instead
Yeah.
of like all these cameras and stuff.
So Duffy likened the current system to a flip phone, saying it is antiquated telecommunications technology that relies on copper wire instead of fiber optic cable and air traffic control centers dating back to the 1960s. So
Quite concerning.
I agree though, where I went to Vancouver. Remember I told you guys that? And I told you the airport wasn't great. Mm-hmm. And then while I was in the airport, I went down a rabbit hole. I'm very curious. I like to learn about stuff. So I started to read about when was the Vancouver airport last updated because it looked super old and I was curious. And then I went down a rabbit hole of the top 10 airports in the world. Like there's a ranking chart. We are not like on any of them.
I'm not surprised.
It's all Asian nations. It's like Japan and one in Thailand, maybe not Thailand, but it was just this list of like all these cities around Japan and China, and it made me go, "What are we doing, man? We got to get up.
we got to step it up.
We need the best airport in the world. We're America.
We can't have 90-second outages. It's unacceptable.
I'm
That's
not-
a long time.
that's
That's
pretty
terrifying. Especially coming into Newark, the amount of air traffic in that area, dude. That's nuts.
But like they said in the article where he was talking about the fiber optic cable versus copper wire, I heard there was a singular copper wire that was connecting Newark to the air traffic controllers
Hate to hear that.
in Philadelphia.
Not
feels
a good
like,
look.
That feels like urban legend to me.
I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised, dude. That'd be nuts.
I feel like that's how you get an
Oh.
outage like that.
That's kind of scary. Yeah, I mean, so this is pretty ambitious. Duffy's saying you have to redo it all. Simply put, we are going to build a brand new air traffic control system, full stop. So this is crazy. This is
like a 20-year project.
This is a big move.
That's the thing.
But it also, Newark Airport losing communications for 90 seconds should put the fear of God in all these federal officials.
Yeah, going black like that is terrifying.
Yeah, and one plane crashes.
Super dangerous, yeah.
Imagine if one plane crashed and 300 people died.
The one near Reagan Airport, like that, the helicopter and plane crash. Dude, that was crazy.
But that sounds more like user error now because the co-pilot of the pilot of the helicopter was saying he apparently said like 5 times you're gonna crash in this plane.
That is true, yeah.
Really? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, they came out with like I don't know if the audio's out, but there was all these articles about it. He was saying to the pilot like you need to divert. All you need is one big plane crash. See, the thing with air travel is, as a society, we kind of have this weird faith in it, and it makes people nervous. We all get nervous when you get on a plane. It's a little weird. It's not normal. But there is a bubble of trust because there's not a lot of accidents.
Yeah.
And then when a plane crashes, like the one that crashed in, remember the one flipped upside down up in Canada? And
The Delta flight.
Yeah. And when something like that happens, immediately you feel the public trust begin to shake a little bit. People are like, oh, that's weird. And maybe at the airport that day, people were a little uncomfortable. But if you had one big plane crash, I mean, think about 9/11 wasn't a plane crash. It was a plane crash, but it wasn't like a plane crash in the sense of like a user error.
Yeah.
It was a terrorist attack. But after 9/11, people were very weird about flying. And we had to change all protocol, which I talked about a few weeks ago as a result. So they got to figure this out because you can only have public trust erode so much in air travel. And call ourselves a first world nation.
Also, you had the air traffic controller last week who said it's not safe to fly into Newark Airport, which caused everyone to freak out. And now, like, everyone's changing their flights to Philly. My aunt was flying into Newark last night, had a 4-hour delay incoming. Like, wow. I don't even know if she made it to Newark. Like, that's it. So it's been a mess the entire week.
So it's worth noting, they're saying this is going to cost billions of dollars.
Like that one Trump quote right
Duffy
there.
says lots of billions. And then Trump said he hopes one company will get one big, beautiful contract where it's, they're responsible for everything from digging ditches to the most sophisticated stuff. So I don't know. What I always find interesting with these updates with tech is, do they pick one airport and begin to update it, and then how do they loop that airport into the old system? That's what I like. I know that's like ridiculous, but I get curious.
I would
like,
love to see
how do they begin the process of bringing a new airport online and then catching all the other ones up? It feels like it'd be so complicated that I don't even know how you figure something like that out.
I would love to know.
And maybe it isn't that complicated. Maybe they're just talking about like their wireless. Maybe it's like, hey, we got to run new router, like, fiber optics, get a new Verizon router,
plug it into the wall. All right, this works.
No, but it sounds like they're not their computers, but whatever the systems are on the back end, the radar systems that are spinning around the airport are probably
the mainframe.
Yeah, that's why I like going to IKEA in Elizabeth. You ever go to IKEA?
Yeah,
you get off and you see the airport thing spinning. It's pretty cool.
It's the radar.
Love it.
The mainframe, hack the mainframe. All right, so it gets better though, guys, because we're going to move on to another article here regarding travel. If you're in Newark Airport, we've seen lots of stories this week about 90-minute runway delays or 2-hour runway delays.
Worse,
canceled flights.
Now, let's throw another piece of complication in the mix. The real ID deadline was yesterday.
Ooh, after hearing about this for like 6 years.
Yeah.
It finally happened.
This is all people have been talking about is getting your real ID. And now we're seeing the federal government begin to change protocol just a little bit.
Doesn't make sense.
The real ID deadline has officially passed, but travelers who do not have one will still be allowed to fly with extra steps.
So they pushed everyone for months. Get your real ID. Get your real ID.
Years.
And now the deadline happens, and now they're like, oh, actually, if you don't have one, it's fine.
There's extra steps.
But you know how much more time this is going to take at the airport? They're going to be extra screening. It's going to slow down security. They're going to bring in more people to run security. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Is this going to be like you have another line for security? Like if you don't have your stuff, you go over here, and then If you have,
I think we'll have a better scope on it like after a week of it because it
TSA
just started
pre-check, you go
yesterday,
here.
but it's very interesting to me. It's like they just pushed people and made them panic to get a real ID. And now that the deadline approached, they're like, actually, if you don't have one, it's fine. There's just going to be some extra steps involved, which will slow down your commute. So
Travelers who haven't obtained a real ID by this week's deadline received assurances from the head of Homeland Security that they will be able to fly after additional identity checks. But that didn't prevent long lines of people at the government offices trying to get the identification card. So Kristi Noem told a congressional panel that 81% of travelers already have the IDs that comply with real ID requirements. She said security checkpoints will also be accepting passports and tribal identification when the deadline hits Wednesday. Those who still lack an identification that complies with the real ID law may be diverted to a different lane, have an extra step, Noam said. So, and she goes on to say, but people will still be allowed to fly. We will make sure it's as seamless as possible. So, this is such a rug pull because I was expecting people crying at the airport.
Yeah.
The kid's not going to Disneyland. Nah, you're going to go still. So, by the way, what do they do for verification of ID for minors at the airport? I don't remember when I would.
that's a really good question.
You bring like a birth certificate?
I don't know.
I mean, like I guess passport for the most part. Most kids have
no,
passports.
I didn't have a passport until I was older.
Yeah, me too.
Me neither, but I feel like kids get passports these days.
I don't think so. I think only if you're traveling internationally.
Now, I guess birth certificate. No one wants to carry that around though.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
That's a really good question. I completely forget.
The responsible adult's ID is sufficient. Oh,
okay.
interesting.
Oh,
That's
up
pretty
until
cool.
what age though?
18.
Really?
Yeah, you're a minor.
So a 17-year-old can just go onto a flight with a parent there present without an ID. Good to know.
So, yeah, there's a lot of people that are not happy. So Renelle Leggett, a college student from Westchester, Pennsylvania, spent hours getting her real ID and was not happy about it.
Oh, God.
I've been out here for 3 hours to get one ID when I've already had one that should have lasted me until about 2029, Leggett said. Yeah, I agree.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, they scared everyone. They're like, you have to get this real ID. People were going crazy because they couldn't find an appointment. And now they're like, actually, it's fine. You don't have to have a real ID. Just go through some extra steps. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, so Real ID is a federally compliant state-issued license or identification card that Homeland Security says is a more secure form of identification. It was recommended by the 9/11 Commission and signed into law in 2005. Anything the 9/11
So
Commission...
this has been going on for a long time. This has been a work in progress.
Yeah, it's pretty much any terrorist attack is the impetus to erode at individual liberty.
Well, we think about 2001 to 2025, like 24 years ago.
That's 20 years ago. They beat the panel.
Yeah.
Happened. So, yeah, it's interesting.
So if you're flying and you don't have real ID, it's
I'm not
fine.
get-
You
I'm
just
not
might
getting
have to get that additional screening, which is not going to be fun for you. Get to the airport a little earlier. And if you're flying out of Newark this week, like seriously, I don't have any advice for you, but just definitely be on top of it because there's been so many delays and I don't know if it's gotten better yet. So good luck. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to another story here. This is
Hard hitting.
a little bit of a pivot, but this is an interesting one. A New Jersey high school student set a Chromebook on fire as part of a TikTok challenge this week.
The TikTok challenges are getting more and more absurd.
Yeah.
Like, we see setting Chromebooks on fire? That's a
Who
new thing
thinks
now?
this is a good idea?
Have you guys seen these videos?
Yeah, they
Yes,
stick
it's so
something into like
dumb.
the side of
They
it.
put a paper clip into one of the outlets.
Yeah, and then it sets the battery on fire.
What's the point?
I think you're rerouting the circuit.
Are these kids'
back
brains
to its-
fried?
No, the computer is, though. A 15-year-old student at a North Jersey high school has been charged with arson after police say they intentionally set a school-issued Chromebook on fire as part of a TikTok challenge. The fire was reported at Belleville High School on Thursday, May 8th at 9:13 a.m. Police and fire officials responded to the school after receiving a report of a fire in room 219. When officers and firefighters arrived, they found a charred Chromebook outside the building near the classroom in question. A staff member had noticed the device smoking and removed it from the room while helping evacuate the students and faculty, authorities said. The building was cleared for re-entry only after fire personnel confirmed it was safe, with no active fire or smoke hazards remaining. Shout out to the firefighters. Gotta love firefighters. A joint investigation. By the way, you guys heard about the Belleville firefighter situation this week?
No.
Oh, we got to talk about that next. Remind me to bring that up.
I haven't heard.
So a joint investigation by Belleville police and fire departments revealed that the student had manipulated the device intentionally as part of a social media trend on TikTok, causing it to smolder and pose a serious fire risk. What do you guys think about that?
I feel like this is one of those things where a kid sees it online and doesn't think it's actually real.
That's what I think.
Because
you're
I
right.
feel like I would almost do the same thing. Or like, oh, that can't be real.
Also,
like
like,
I try it real quick, and you're like, oh,
It's a real. It's a school issued Chromebook too. It's not even theirs. So
Yeah, so
it's
you're
just
like,
like, the school's gonna cover it.
Yeah,
like they won't know that I did this myself. I'm just gonna say it happened.
yeah, if I break the
Do they?
board or
I guess they
something.
don't think they're gonna get caught. I don't understand.
Jordan, I think you're a kind-hearted, wonderful person, and you do something that kind-hearted, wonderful people do. You project your own mindset onto other people, and you forget most people stink. Most people
Dude,
are
I
not.
feel like most kids are.
You're like a really solid person.
But I feel like
think-
most kids are just dumb.
I
Rather
think there
than
are
like
kids that are
looking
like,
to-
screw it, let's burn this place down.
Yeah.
Like, they want
Maybe, I
to
don't
light
know.
the computer on fire, and maybe I don't know. You're right though. I could see myself being like, because when I saw the video, I thought that feels fake. Like I don't think.
Yeah,
that
we're like
works.
it's too easy. Where it's like I gotta try that
Yeah.
just to see, and then you do it, and you're like, oh shoot, like that actually works.
The student whose name was not released due to his age was charged with third-degree arson and criminal mischief. So he is being charged. Yeah, what'll happen there, I don't know. But officials urged parents and guardians to speak to their children about the dangers of online challenges. It goes back to
The Tide Pod Challenge.
the Tide Pod Challenge. The Cinnamon Challenge almost killed me when I was 15.
The Cinnamon Challenge was great. Like that was not hurting anyone. It was good old fun.
What was the
We
Cinnamon
weren't
Challenge?
lighting. You take a spoonful of cinnamon.
A tablespoon
what
of cinnamon, and you have
happens.
to try to swallow it.
That's great.
And
Now,
I swallowed the whole thing at once, and it lumped in my throat and dried out, and it was just like I couldn't get it out of my throat. I was just choking.
It's
And Chubby
hilarious.
was laughing at me.
because I knew you were fine.
I was jumping with my head facing the ground, trying to get it out.
Fast forward to 15 years later, you got kids eating Tide Pods. You got kids lighting Chromebooks on fire. What is wrong with this generation?
Yeah, it's weird, man. I mean,
I guess lighting a Chromebook is safer than eating a Tide Pod. But still, it's just it's
it
not
depends
right.
on the context.
It's
I don't know.
not
Yeah.
right. Kids
Light
are out of
the
their
school on
minds.
fire.
yeah, there's always a weird challenge. I want to try to start a challenge,
Okay.
a good challenge.
How about lighting a MacBook on fire?
A buy a Garden State T-shirt challenge? All the kids of the nation have to buy a T-shirt from us.
Buy our merch. Clean our store out. We're actually almost out of all our shirts.
All right, I think we hit the
Nail on the head.
the nail on the
I
head
hope
here.
all
don't
the
know if
parents are
there's-
listening. This reminded them to urge their kids not to light a Chromebook on fire.
Okay, so on the topic of Belleville firefighters,
Oh, with the wife?
yeah, did you hear about this?
I saw it on TikTok last night scrolling.
Yeah, so
The guy went nuts.
So I know somebody that knows the couple. So there's this birthday party. This is on. I saw Z100 talk about this.
It's all over the internet.
So I saw this before it was viral. We probably could have dropped the video and gotten a lot of views on it, but it just felt immoral to me. So I was like, we're not.
I
gonna
would
do
have had to like censor that thing like crazy.
Yeah. So there's a video of a surprise birthday party for this 40-year-old guy who apparently is a Belleville, New Jersey firefighter, and his wife invites him up in front of his whole family. Basically, they're at like an event space, like a fancy event hall, and he goes up and he's like, "I just want to let everybody know there was no surprise here. I already knew about the party." And then he invites his wife up and he's like, "But I do have a surprise for you." Like, so he's like super. It's playful. You're thinking like, "Whoa, what's he about to? He got her a gift or something."
Yeah.
Because he had a box
And he goes,
or something,
yeah,
right?
and he goes, "Give me your ring." And she takes off the ring and gives it to him. Like, you're thinking he's going to get her a new ring. And then he starts screaming and cursing at her.
The best part, he takes the ring, he goes up, gives her the kiss of death. Just one last kiss. He kisses her, pulls away, and then
the
he goes.
kiss was the craziest part because it looked aggressive. Like he like,
It was an aggressive kiss, yeah.
and then he's like,
and then
"I
he moves up. He's like,
saw-"
I know everything.
Yeah, he started
And everyone's
going
like,
off.
"What?"
Apparently,
Oh my
she was having an affair with a landscaper,
With the landscaper.
and
know that.
he's in front of like I don't know how many people were at this party, but it had to be like 40 people.
Like all their family and
screaming
friends,
at her,
yeah.
going like, "Don't you lie!" He's cursing her out. I have videos. I just was like, "What is wrong with people that you would do that?" And then I think the funny part of it was he left a review for the landscaper.
A what?
Did you see the review he left for the landscaper?
No, I didn't. What did he say?
Maybe we have to cut this out.
No,
this part.
it's hilarious.
But he was like, he gave him 3 stars.
3 stars.
That's so generous.
He was like, let me see if I can find it.
That's so. Why did he do? What was the point of that?
He's upset about the cheating, but he actually does do a good job.
He said it actually does a fantastic job. But like something's going on in Belleville. People are lighting on, laptops on fire, and people are having crazy 40th birthday parties.
That's I saw that TikTok last night. I didn't realize it was Belleville.
Apparently the guy knew for like 3 months.
Well, actually, what's crazy is like one of the girls behind the camera like knew about it too. One of her friends, because
Really?
like she was like, "Oh, he knows." Like you heard something in the background. And everyone's like, "Yeah, that just gave it away." Like she's screwed. So yeah, it's a terrible situation. That's really sad. It was a sad video.
I don't get why people implode their marriages. Like the only, it just doesn't make sense.
Hey, he got the ring back though. He got his ring back.
It was a smart move.
Very smart move
to pretend, but to do it in front of your entire family is a little messy. Because what if you want to work on it and figure things out?
Yeah, it really.
There's no going back now.
It's a
the whole
brutal
family
video.
is brutal. Would not recommend watching.
Yeah, I was not. That's why I didn't repost it on our page. It was just like it was kind of ugly. But yeah, thanks for sharing that, Josh.
Yeah, it's Jersey. Jersey's messy.
Jersey.
So
All right, let's move on. Josh, we've been updating everyone about the New Jersey transit situation weekly, and it seems like things are just not getting better. Do you want to give us a quick update on this strike?
Yeah, I do have an article here, but it's important for people to understand. There was an agreement met here. There was a moment where it looked like both sides came together and shook hands, and now things have crumbled. And there's a renegotiation happening.
It's kind of like the Belleville video, the kiss of death. They came together.
Yes.
And then one of them's like, no. They're pretty much like, no, you guys suck.
I was on a train yesterday, and the conductor was talking to a lady saying lots of guys are going to Amtrak. And he's like, I don't want to do that. I got to take a new test. I don't want to take a new test.
Ooh, wow.
So it says New Jersey's first major rail strike in 4 decades became more likely this week when talks between NJ Transit and the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineers broke down. So New Jersey Transit had rejected our last offer and they walked away from the table, said Tom Hass, the union's chairman. Have you guys seen the videos of the head of NJ Transit freaking out about this?
No,
He's going off. There's clips of him saying
the CEO or this.
Yeah,
okay.
CEO. He's
Yeah,
like,
no, I've seen that.
he's like, we are not a socialist nation. Like he's like flipping out. So Haas said the railroad has overstated the amount paid to its engineers. NJ Transit insists the average pay is $135,000. The union has said it's closer to $105,000. So, but NJ Transit leadership said the union appears to have moved the goalposts. So it's interesting. It does sound that way. I will be transparent. I know we have some of our locomotive brothers listening to this. We got some emails this week. We gotta connect with some of these people. From an outsider's perspective, it seems like there was some sort of a tentative sort of let's make this happen, and that was right around Easter weekend, I believe. Or no, not Easter. It wasn't Easter. It was my birthday. I feel like that weekend, March 11th.
Back then.
And now we're back to square one. So
only a week out. So kind of scary.
And this is the argument NJ Transit's CEO is making, Chris Calori. He said, I gave them what they wanted, NJ Transit's CEO said, testifying today at a state Senate budget hearing in Trenton. It sounds like they don't want it anymore. Calori says the union had asked for parity with Long Island Railroad engineers at $49 per hour average pay, and that's what they've been offered. But the union says competing railroads actually pay significantly more than that. The stalemate over wages threatens to leave 300,000 riders in the lurch, despite contingency plans that promise shuttle buses from key hubs like Secaucus Junction and the PNC Arts Center. So this is going to be a disaster.
It's going to be a wreck.
I honestly, the first time around, I felt confident they're going to figure it out. I don't know if this time they're going to come to an agreement.
What is it? It's 7 days right now? Yeah, we're 7 days away.
We're 7 days away.
Wow.
And it feels like you may actually see NJ Transit the train shut down.
And the last strike New Jersey Transit had was in 1983, and that one lasted about a month. So imagine that, Josh.
Well, I'm going to tell
I feel bad for all the commuters out there, man.
Yeah, you might have to talk to your boss this week and say, hey, we might have to figure out a work from home plan for the next few weeks.
Yeah, even if it's not an option at your job, talk to your boss. Be like, I don't know how I'm going to get into the city. Like, obviously, you could take a bus, but think about how many people are going to be running
They
the
said
bus.
that only covers like 20% or something,
yes.
right?
The bus lines are going to be madness. Like, you'll have to leave your house like an hour and a half earlier if you want to avoid the crowds.
I don't think, I mean, I don't see it being feasible to get into New York if the trains are gone and they bring in buses. I think it's going to be, first off, is Port Authority ready? Forget NJ Transit. Is Port Authority ready to have that increase in buses coming in? It's already a disaster there.
It just doesn't sound
It's like all of our infrastructure is a mess.
I really hope like they figure something out because it doesn't sound good at all right now.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. We'll see what happens there. We're going to do some on the ground reporting this week. Hey guys, I actually need to do something I've never done before in the podcast. I need to leave early today.
Ooh.
And we have one story left.
Jimmy's not going to like this one.
This is not good. I'm me leaving the podcast. I'm gonna
I think
pass
I'm
it
gonna
over
leave
to Jimmy.
too.
Oh gosh.
Really?
I think I'm gonna leave too with you.
Okay.
Can't do this.
Jordan, you want to leave with us? Let's
I'll
do a
head
walkout.
Sweet. I'm down to stay.
It'd be funny if you said you were down to leave with us. So Tom's River is trying to remove a church by force to replace it with a soccer field and pickleball courts.
Oh, Jordan, are you behind this?
Yeah, I think
The town.
I'm totally in support of this.
This is
the
a
whole
crazy
town
one.
is riled up. They're really upset right now.
Yeah. So
I mean, like you have a church trying to build a homeless shelter, and then you got the mayor trying to build pickleball courts and soccer courts. Maybe some, high-rise buildings down the road. Who knows?
Wow.
who knows? Yeah, it's a weird situation. These are the stories where the truth is somewhere in between. Because I would love to hear. I would love if we could have a debate between. I know they had the town hall meeting already, but I'd love the pastor of the church and the mayor to come together and hash this out on the podcast.
Who owns the property?
The church does.
Okay, then
So
there's the answer to your question.
You can't do anything.
But
Yeah.
look, Eminent, they want to take it by force using eminent domain.
which is criminal and anti-American.
So
can't do
that's the thing. A lot of the town is pissed off at the mayor right now over this because they're trying to just use force, and obviously no one wants that.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's
I mean-
pickleball courts, so
Shut up, Jordan.
who's not in support of that?
I thought you could only use eminent domain for like major projects, like road projects, or if something's been abandoned for like years.
Josh Chomick, I'm passing you the keys of the Lamborghini to close this thing out.
I get the torch.
I'm giving you the torch.
Yes.
Bye.
All right, get out of here, you filthy animal,
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
and a happy New Year. Boom. He has left the building. What's up, fellas? You guys feeling good?
I feel great.
This is a safe space now.
I know.
Okay.
I feel so warm.
Gabagool.
So yeah, let's go through the details of this article. We can see what's going on in Tom's River. Chaos erupted at a Tom's River Council meeting last week after the township took steps to seize a church that wants to host a homeless shelter. The issue is turning Christ Episcopal Church into a multi-purpose recreation spot along Washington Ave just east of downtown. The mayor never reached out to me and the other two councilmen about this idea to take the property over, which is complete craziness, said the 4th Ward councilman. The proposal comes months after Christ Episcopal Church announced plans to host a homeless shelter and applied to the township for a variance, leaving some in the community to believe the actions taken by the town are political. At last week's council meeting, a vote to table the ordinance failed in a 4-3 decision. The crowd's reaction overwhelmingly supported the efforts of the church. Here's a quote from a resident in Tom's River. I just want you to know that when you go after a church of faith, you're losing faith of the people. That's what it really comes down to. Mayor Daniel Roderick envisions the church property as part of a large waterfront park, including a soccer field on the site of the church building, 8 pickleball courts, a skate park, and large playground. The ordinance introduced at the council meeting also calls for the purchase of 3 private marinas downtown, as well as a vacant lot. Roderick had argued that the heavily populated downtown area has few recreation options for residents, but some speakers at the April 30th meeting claimed the mayor's move to acquire the church came in response to an ongoing effort by the church and Affordable Housing Alliance to build a 17-bed overnight shelter for the homeless on the Christ Church property. So, yes, a lot of people are going back and forth with the mayor here. A lot of people are on the church's side because they think the church is doing a good thing, opening up a homeless shelter. and they think the mayor wanting to take over this church by eminent domain to build pickleball courts and soccer courts just doesn't make any sense. And who knows if the community even wants a big facility there that's going to draw in tons more people. What do you guys think about this situation?
I think it's messed up. I don't like eminent domain to begin with.
You think it's actually going to happen? Like, what's
No,
how do
I
you
don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't
doubt
think so.
it.
You think the church is going to end up being able to stick around?
I feel like based on that article, it sounds like literally everybody is
Against it.
Yeah. A lot of people don't like this mayor. I heard. I've been like, I love roaming like local Facebook pages, and I think the whole town is riled up about this because they don't like how the mayor is just thinking he can do whatever he wants and just take over this property.
And I think a lot of mayors, like, you know, they want this big project like this to leave their legacy. And
Yeah,
so this is probably
it's a
what
legacy
it is for him,
project.
where it's like, he's like, this is what I'm leaving behind.
It's a really
This
sad legacy
massive-
project, taking over a church by force and then to build a soccer field and pickleball court.
I mean,
Pickleball's going to be irrelevant in like 5 years anyway.
that's not true. I think for the pickleball courts, it's worth it. But for everything else, we could scrap it. They should do a hybrid.
They just take over one of
Homeless
the
shelter.
marinas and just build one pickleball
do the
court.
pickleball courts and the homeless shelter. I think we could win with both.
It's a crazy situation, and it's been all over my feeds this entire week with Tom's River. So yeah, the next meeting, the town council will now host a second reading and a vote on whether to move forward with this plan to take over the church and property at the next scheduled meeting on May 28th at 4 p.m. So May 28th is the day. We will find out what's going to go on in Tom's River, and if you are from the area, if you are a local resident, use your voice. Go to these town council meetings, speak up, and let your voice be heard, because that's how change is made. And that is the ending of our story on Tom's River, fellas. Which brings us to the end of the podcast.
Yeah, as I said, it's the end.
We started with the captain of the ship, and this podcast is like the radar towers, you know, in Newark Airport, where we have an
traffic
outage. Our captain is gone. We're kind of just like floating right now. Jimmy's manning a camera, trying to figure out Jimmy, what's wrong with his camera? It's the end of the pod.
It overheated and now it's frozen.
That's okay.
That's my camera. That's my fault. We got to fix that. We will fix that. We're at the end of the pod.
That's all right.
It's all good. Any last thoughts as we conclude the podcast here, Jordan?
I got nothing. I'm blank right now.
I'm looking forward to the weekend. I can't believe it is Friday.
Oh, snap. Yeah, tomorrow we're going to go to... tomorrow is the demolition of... What's the hotel?
The Sheraton.
The Sheraton,
In
yeah.
Mawa.
The implosion kept getting pushed off. So tomorrow is the official implosion of the
that's gonna
Sheraton.
be
We have to
cool.
figure out where we're gonna like post up and like get a
We
good
gotta- we gotta
angle of
scout
this,
it
because
out.
they said the public, it's not open to the public, so we got to find like a good spot to like sneak.
Well, I
onto
mean, we're
this.
not the public. We are.
I mean, we
the
need to
Garden
get
State.
media passes. Jimmy, are you doing something fun this weekend?
I have nothing planned.
So you're coming with us to
Probably.
the Sheraton? Yes. All right, cool. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. Thank you. And once again, sorry for the delay. We won't ever let that happen again. I'll make sure of it. And I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful weekend. It's going to be a little rainy today, but I think Sunday gets beautiful again. So
Yeah.
that's all I have. Hope to see you guys next week. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Later.
See ya.
Later.
You're listening to the Garden State. The Dirty Jers.